And it is a good and beautiful morning. I hope you are enjoying the nice mellow weather today. Welcome to the 15th Annual Citizens for Prison Reform Building Bridges Legislation Education Day. Citizens for Prison Reform was founded, as many of you know, over 15 years ago to really support families that have loved ones experiencing incarceration. This is our 15th year coming to the state capitol to not only make our voices heard, but importantly as well to make our presence felt. Too often, for those that are most vulnerable in our society, have neither had a voice nor the presence that would powerfully speak for them and that would adequately represent their issues and their concerns.
So when people look at me, they don't actually see a trauma survivor, right? They see a therapist that's been in practice for 16 years. And the reason why I lead with the fact that I am a survivor and this is the face of what trauma looks like, because I'm very, very clear that I could be the person in prison, like my dear brother, who is doing a very ample sentence in Michigan Corrections.
The truth is 8 out of 10 victims and survivors actually want rehabilitation for those who are incarcerated. For those who have made a mistake, those who have caused harm. We want to know, hey, how did you get here? Why did you get here? What was contributing to your decision?
It has been noted that in America particularly, that every American perhaps commits about 7 felonies a day without even knowing it, without having no intention to. But there's that many laws and rules and regulations in our society that sometimes perhaps we could be in violation of a law that could land us in incarceration. That's oftentimes how easy it actually is. Some of us struggle a little more, and some of us find ourselves in and out of incarceration. And when we do, we want to make sure that we have built something that actually supports why we think that there's a need to have people there. Some of us feel that there's not a need to have a carceral system. Some of us feel that there needs to be some forms and measures of accountability. Wherever you fall in between, the concern of Citizens for Prison Reform is that in the interim of whichever where you fall at, there are still people currently incarcerated. And people that are currently incarcerated are experiencing some things that are very detrimental and debilitating to their rehabilitation.
8 out of 10 what we call ACEs, trauma markers, complex trauma. And somehow I made it out and I didn't become one of the 1 in 10 children that has a parent that is incarcerated. 92% of people that are behind bars have experienced trauma in their lives. And this is why justice-oriented education, practices, policies are so critical. Because if we can get in front of this early on in children's lives, using practices that are trauma-informed, it would help to change the trajectory of what I call the school-to-prison pipeline. And one of the things that I talked about more recently was the fact that prisons are being built as a result of reading levels of our children, and predominantly children that look like me, Black and brown children. We're predicting that they are going to be in prison at some point, and we're going to be able to capitalize on the fact that they will end up there in part because we're not spending enough money on prevention that is going to help to support people's mental health. The reality is that when a person is experiencing mental health issues, they are usually also experiencing co-occurring issues. They are usually using all kinds of mechanisms in order to mute what it is that they're feeling, because life can feel very hopeless from that place. And when a person doesn't have hope, where do they go? What do they do with their lives? When the choices that you have in your life seem to be so minimal that the only way out might be you committing a crime, you harming yourself or harming other people. And the reality is that even for people who are in corrections that are responsible for the care of people who are behind bars, guess what? They are traumatized too. Guess what? They only actually have about 5 trauma-informed practitioners that are trained in suicide prevention to help to support inmates.
Before I start, I have a confession to make. I did not write the report that we put out last year, Debtors in Prison, for most of you guys here. Because you don't need for me to tell you how expensive it is to be in prison or to support somebody who is in prison. You've lived it. If you've done time on the inside, you know at a level that many of us will never know what it's like to not only be deprived of your freedom, but to be subjected intentionally or unintentionally to a whole host of indignities. And then, after all of that, have what little you have left wrung out of you like water from a wet towel.
While they're there, they're walking into a system that some of them feel that they may not make it out of. And that means that creates a volatile environment for them to live in. A volatile environment for our corrections guards to work in. And this situation should not exist. We, the people of society, we, the people of the great state of Michigan, we have the right to say, this is not acceptable. So we bring our voice, we bring our presence, and we work with legislators right here at the Capitol, in between the House and the Senate, to elevate legislative aims and goals that will change the reality of what we see happening versus our dream.
Lori Mohutsky. I serve as the state representative for House District 17. I want to thank you all for being here today. And please know that I absolutely mean it when I say that the most impactful thing you can do is be here and do what you're doing to advance change. Speaking with legislators, helping them put human faces to what otherwise is too often thought to be an abstract policy or a hypothetical situation. I know that sharing your stories and being vulnerable, comes at a price. And I'm grateful that you are all choosing to do it. The reason it's so critical that you're here is because it's important that you vocalize for a number of my colleagues what we already know under this tent. No one in society is safer when we lock people away with no concerns for the conditions of their confinement or whether or not their incarceration is going to offer a single resource to change the circumstances that led to it to begin with. But shamefully, that's too often the attitude with which government approaches the criminal legal system. This approach obviously has predictable and tragic consequences. All across Michigan, people in the custody of the Department of Corrections are facing inhumane conditions, a grievance system that functions to punish and create barriers instead of solutions, and healthcare that is inaccessible and ineffective.
Is that when people get help while they're incarcerated, that they get rehabilitation programs, education, not just books to read, but truly rehabilitative programs that are evidence-based that say, hey, when they come back out, they're less likely to commit this crime. And we're gonna be those that are gonna be supporting them to be successful and supporting and breaking the barriers.
But today I'm asking for your voice. I'm asking for your outrage and your support for the bipartisan bills before us that will begin to strengthen the independent oversight of our prison system by expanding the powers of the Legislative Corrections Ombudsman's Office.
Yeah.
I'm asking you for your voice because behind the fences, our current system of accountability is failing.
Inside the system, I only know the system. So this is the reason why I have such a dedicated passion and commitment to disrupting this system. So therefore, it's important and critical for us to understand that our lived experiences are powerful in our lives. So the psychological impacts of incarceration are devastating.
What do you think happens for somebody who's already experiencing mental health challenges and then they end up incarcerated? Then what's going to happen is that they are going to be re-exposed. re-expose constantly. And then we wonder why people end up recommitting crimes, in part because they're not getting the preventative care that they need to support them on a mind, body, spirit level. One of the ways that we can get in front of this is, in my first book is called Me Too, A Therapist's Journey to Heal, Find Liberation, and Joy, because it's important for us to acknowledge that we too are traumatized, that we too could have been down this pathway. So oftentimes we see people as if they are different from us. And the reality is that any one of us in this space, any one of us that are listening to me speak, could also have been in a situation with particular conditions that could have also forced you to make a choice in one moment that would lead you to paying the price for the rest of your life. And as my brother Hakeem said, how long do people have to pay for the choices that they've made?
You know that every contact with the criminal legal system, every contact with the Department of Corrections, there is a cost associated with that. And you pay that cost because of love. I owe you a debt of gratitude. Thank you for entrusting me with your wisdom and your stories so that I could communicate confidently to people who don't know what it's like, really. And there is so many people that don't know what it's like and how expensive it is to be touched by the criminal legal system. For those of you who haven't interacted with the criminal legal system, I hear you. Everything costs more. Money is tight. And unless you're wealthy, and if you have to work for a living, you're not wealthy, not really. You feel that why should folks who are incarcerated or who love folks who are incarcerated be shielded from all of that? And I want to tell you that they're not. They feel it more acutely than most of us on the outside. Just like, on the outside, folks on the outside, folks in prisons have jobs. They work every day.
But they string you along until they eventually ghost you. This is why we must expand the oversight powers of the Legislative and Correctional Ombudsman, provide the Ombudsman Office with the ability to demand real answers by conducting robust, independent investigations without obstruction from the department. There's no information in the department that the department possesses that should not be provided to the legislature for oversight. We must also expect much, much better from our current Ombudsman's office.
Looking for that perfect dinner spot that hits the spot without breaking the bank? Look no further than Harris's Takeout at Jack's. We're serving up comfort food the right way. Hot, fresh, and completely made to order. Pull up Monday through Saturday from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. and check out our heavy-hitting lineup. We've got the ultimate combos ready to roll, like our 5-wing dings and fries or 3 chicken tenders and fries for just $7. Looking for a classic? Grab a juicy hamburger for $4 or upgrade it to a cheeseburger deluxe for just $7. Loaded with all your favorite toppings. And hey, you can add fries to any burger for just $1.50. Craving a little spice? Craving. Dive into our walking tacos for only $2 or level up to our loaded nachos stacked high with meat, cheese, lettuce, sour cream, salsa, and jalapenos for just $7. We've also got sides for days, from fried mushrooms and onion rings to crispy fried okra and chili cheese fries. But wait, when the weekend hits, you know we've got to do it big. Friday and Saturday only, come grab our legendary BBQ plate for just $13. You get your choice of barbecue rib tips, beef burnt ends, or barbecue chicken tips, served up right with 2 sides and fresh bread. Oh, and keep your eyes open, because breakfast is coming soon. Thank you for supporting Harris's Takeout at Jack's. Come see us tonight between 4 and 8 p.m. and get it while it's hot.
Oh, do I turn to?
Walk back in with a duffel bag, 1 key, 1 bus card, 1 last tag. Mama moved, phone dead, rent due. I know the block, but the block don't know you. Paperwork thick like a brick wall. Every form say sign here, I stall. Online page keep asking me to prove what I spent years trying to get loose. First day home, I don't sleep much. Window half open, hearing loose cuffs. My hands still shake when the door latch clicks. Still count steps like a cell block shift. I tell myself breathe, keep pace, but the same old alley got a new face. And everybody say keep your head up, like clean is easy when the whole world fed up. 72 hours, that's the test. Keep my feet on the floor, keep calm in my chest. 72 hours, don't let me slip. I need a steady hand and somebody to pick up. Who do I turn to? Who do I turn to? First 3 days I need something true. Who do I turn to? Who do I turn to? Oh, I'm a returning neighbor too. Job sites.
Welcome. Good morning, everybody, to another live edition of the Returning Neighbors podcast with me, Dion Brigham Ill, and my other brothers is going to tap in shortly. But what's going on, my brother?
I contemplate, man, thinking about the weekend, over the weekend, the great event that I went to with, at the Spirit of Detroit down there at the Returning Citizens Day. That was a great event.
Yeah.
And just watching that event from down there in Lansing, man, able to connect with a couple of senators and representatives down there that's on the path of righteousness,
Yeah, that was an amazing event, man. That was thrown by the Citizens for Prison Reform. That was their 16th annual legislation day. It was just a good turnout, man. I enjoyed that event. We got to connect with a lot of different legislators and, mingle and get some good information, man. It was definitely informative, man. I had a good time, man.
Absolutely.
So,
how did your Father's Day event go?
man, the Father's Day event went well, man. We had to do it a week before Father's Day, but just because this year had a major Juneteenth event this weekend, but it went well, man. We gave away 6 trophies, Father of the Year trophies, to 6 amazing men in our community. Looking to start that as a annual tradition that we do every year, just to support fatherhood. It's part of our fatherhood initiative.
Yes, sir.
We got a couple call-ins today, don't we? Coming in later.
Yeah, we got the brother from I think he up in Lapeer.
Up in Lapeer, yeah. Way up top. Man, we was gonna talk about what we doing in the community now that we are returning neighbors. I know that's something that Oso wanted to come on and talk about too when he tapped in at 12. Just letting the people know some of the work that we out here currently doing.
Well, right now, some of the work that I'm doing, man, is some of the work that I'm doing now is building the bridges with other organizations to have resources. It's a place down here in Detroit where we had They do it every Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And I met this sister there that's um, doing mentorship for young women, and that's one of the things that I'm focused on doing with free people and returning neighbors, is to go up into some of these complexes that may, we call them the projects, but some of these homes where it's a community already there. A lot of stuff be going on and within those structures. So we plan on going into those structures and doing a cleanup first to get the community engaged, one another, and then also linking up with the local and state legal, politicians.
Yeah.
I'm stepping to that arena, man, to have a conversation to see where they want their communities at. I'm working on that as well.
What about the work you're doing with Pop First, Power of the People First?
Now that's part of the community workspace. We're gonna be having a rally soon. When Blake come on here, when he come on here, he could talk about the things that we doing with Pop First. So far as linking up with some of the people, some of the officials that's gonna be running for governor. I think it's like 3 of them right now.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna be linking up with those individuals, particularly Swanson coming up. We have an event down there in Pontiac, so we're gonna be linking, having a meet and greet with him. So if you're in the vicinity of Pontiac, I forgot to date the flyer. Did you get that flyer?
Nah, not yet. I was asking him to send it to me. He might have sent it to me. I got to go check the emails. But for people that don't know, Pop First is an organization which works with the people for the people. We believe that every citizen should be afforded the right to live with the American dream, and that begins with employing constitutional powers. In order to accomplish such a goal, it's necessary to do away with the mindset of my vote doesn't count. It's our initiative to work in unison with every American who desires greater living conditions. As a unit, we, the people, have the ability to make an immediate impact in improving every facet of our country. So our group exists solely for you, and we're looking to grow our memberships, man. We're looking for members that desire improvement in their personal life, their conditions, as well as their advancement of their respective communities. So it don't matter where you are, the geographical location across this nation, ethnic origin, your sexual identity, your economic position. We don't care. We want you to join the team, man. Knowledge is paramount in attaining of life's comforts, and resources are distributed to those who unite constitutionally. We got to make people accountable. We got to educate our population on the power of the vote, and we got to come together. Because if we come together, we'll start to realize that there's real power. You can really make politicians come to you. Every year I sit on different boards and different associations, and I see when they have a base, the politicians will come to you. They come to speak to you directly because they want to know what you think, what you care about. They want to know how you going to vote. So if they know that we got a collective force out here that's moving together as one unit, they're going to come see us. They're going to come see us because they know we got a force that's voting, and we can make some changes out here by putting in the candidates that's going to support the initiatives that we pushing. Candidates that's going to actually go after funding to help people. Everything that we do is to help people. That's why Dion Riggin-Ill, his organization, Free People, Returning Neighbors. We're looking into talking about reentry and doing reentry, peer-led reentry models, showing people that it's necessary to develop peer-led reentry models all across the country. Every city needs to have one. You need to have the formerly incarcerated guys teaching and leading and mentoring the guy that is coming home, so that he can have a network, so he can have a form of
DHS for him, right? A place that he can go and get all the information, can understand societal things that we don't understand, that also has that carceral knowledge to be able to walk a person through returning back into society and how to reintegrate successfully, right? That's what we all about. So if you want to join the movement or you want some more information, scan the QR code on the screen. Scan the QR code on the screen. Join up with the Power of the People First movement. For more information, visit powerofthepeoplefirst.life.
You know, what you were speaking on, and that's part of the reasons why we're going up in these complexes, man, because a lot of young adults stay in these complexes that may not be registered to vote. And we get those individuals to register to vote, and when it comes time to voting, we know where they at, you know. So
Definitely.
I just sent you the flyer on Messenger, and I sent it to your I didn't email it to you though, but I sent it to you.
Okay. I'll check now.
Yeah, you know, to be a part of a reentry program, man, is not hard to do, man. You know, it's all about contributing.
Yeah.
You know, it's and basically linking up with resources that can help you to contribute. One of the other things that we had at this event, to where Integrate 313. I'm gonna send you this flyer too. The sister she got homes for transitioning homes for people that's coming home from prison. Here down here in Detroit. I'm gonna send you this flyer. So if anybody that's coming home and needs a residence that may have a job already, that she's offering these homes out to. The House of Shirley, that's the name of it.
The House of Shirley?
Yeah, the House of Shirley.
That's dope. I'm getting this flyer now that you sent me.
That's the House of Shirley right there. Yeah, man, so we waiting on a couple of phone calls. I called the brother back. He didn't pick up yet, though.
If he don't pick up, it's all good. You know what I'm saying? We can continue. I got that picture that you sent me. Here it go. Rethinking safety, stability, and second chances.
Yeah, that's one of the things that, you know, that Swanson is running on again. You know, and particularly when we talk about politics, man, you know, we got to be strategic on who we put in office or who we get behind, you know, in this governor race, you know?
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact, because they're going to decide policies that's going to affect us. And if we're trying to change legislation, especially like bringing good time and ending truth and sentencing, like these is real initiatives that we're trying to push across Michigan, we got to make sure that we get people in office that understand our fight.
Yeah. That's the brother say he said, what time we going live? That's Oso, we on. I'm telling him.
Yeah, tell Oso tap in now. We're bringing he on. Tell him we on deck. We could check some of this video real quick, man.
Include physical, emotional, or sexual abuse, physical or emotional neglect, or growing up in a household where a parent experienced mental illness, substance dependence, incarceration, where there was parental separation or divorce, or intimate partner violence. What they found was, number one, ACEs are super common, and number two, that there's this really significant effect. So there's a direct, what we call a dose-response relationship between adverse childhood experiences and some of the most significant and serious health conditions that are facing Americans today. 2/3 2/3 of individuals had experienced at least one, and 1 in 8 folks had experienced 4 or more. When we talk about how many of us have experienced ACEs, what we see is that ACEs impact every community, every demographic group, but it impacts our vulnerable communities in a disproportionate level. The big surprise about the ACE study was that for someone with 4 more ACEs, their risk of heart disease was double, right? For stroke and cancer and liver disease and diabetes, even autoimmune disease. And a lot of these things are things that we didn't kind of traditionally or intuitively associate with childhood trauma. But now we can use this science to understand actually what happens in our brains and bodies when we're exposed to trauma or adversity, and especially in childhood. The term, the toxic stress response, actually refers to the prolonged activation of our body's stress response, the release of all those stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol and all of those things that go along with our stress response. And then also the ways in which that affects our bodies. Children are especially vulnerable to this repeated activation of the stress response because their brains and bodies are just developing. So high doses of adversity in children actually changes the way their brains develop. It changes the way their hormonal systems develop, their immune system develops, and even the way their DNA is read and transcribed. And those long-term changes are what we refer to as the toxic stress response.
Wait a minute. Yeah, man, we explained the ACEs and that toxic stress and what it does to your brain. And this is why so many people that go to prison are already affected by adverse childhood experiences, and they develop trauma, and they become traumatized people. And that's a big factor why they end up in prison. And it's a big factor also into why it's so hard when you're a returning neighbor to come back and re-enter society. So that's why we put those little type of videos in to help people understand and explain some of the trauma aspects and the science behind that.
Yeah. I know a lot of things that you know that we need to focus on in our communities. You know, as a returning neighbor, you know, we need to be more in tune of who our neighbors are, for real. You know, that's one of the things that bring a collective community. You know, in certain communities, we have people fighting this right across the street, fighting with each other. You know. Mm-hmm. We got to eliminate that stigma in our communities to get along with one another. If we want something to change in the environment of the community.
Yeah, it starts with us first. Yeah. And I think that's important.
Returning citizens can do that. And we can do that.
I'm excited to talk to these guests, man, today, man, especially the brother on the inside.
Yeah, I wish the other brother that I got called earlier, man, that I seen down there, he just came home. I wanted to talk to him about his first 72 hours being out. But he's still in the process because this is fifth day being out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and when you that fresh out, man, you got so much going on. You got to talk to parole agents. You might have to do classes. They might have restrictions on you. You know, you got so much going on when you first come home that it'll have your head spinning. It's hard to focus sometimes. So I definitely get it. But hopefully we get that brother on.
Absolutely.
And if anybody else is watching nationally, especially live, you can either call into the show to the live number,
or you can reach out to us, send us a message on either of the pages. We got the Twitter page now. You can follow us at Felony Podcast on X and send us a message. We'll get you on the show. We'd like to talk about your first 72 hours home, what services were available for you, if there were any services at all. What do you feel that you needed when you came home? What type of resources you need? You know, those are the type of things we want to know. We got Oso on the line. Oso, what's the word?
I appreciate what's going on.
Yes, sir. How's the concert this weekend?
That was good, man. You know, people showed up. You know, the ones that support, you know, they showed up, man. So we did our thing, you know.
That's what's up. It's a vibe, man. It's a vibe. Shout out to you and congratulations on the new album.
I appreciate you, man. You already know. Appreciate y'all, man.
Yeah, when you get the videos done, we can play them on the pod, man.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I got one done off the new album too. I can send you.
Yeah, send it to me. We'll play it on the pod.
Yeah.
Yeah, we was talking about the legislation day that we went in Lansing. That was straight. Got to probably meet a lot of people with the Open My Door campaign. You know, the whole squad out there.
How'd that go? How you feel about it?
Man, it was good, man. Dion, what you thought about it?
I feel good about it, man. I was able to talk to some people, particularly one senator up in the Upper Peninsula, man. We had a conversation with. I had a conversation with him pertaining to programming. You know, because he up there where you at the level 5. That's Senator. I'll get his card, but we talked about having programming when you first start your bit going to prison. You know, at least fill out some kind of questionnaire. If you want to fill out this questionnaire to let ones know where you stand at in your, in your mentor, what you plan to do while you're there in prison, by filling that questionnaire out. And he told me that, he'll go take it back to his constituencies and see how that go. But I'm gonna do a follow up on him because he said he drove something like he was 12 hours from where he was at to come down to the Capitol, to his office. He drove a long way down. So I said, well, we'll be taking a trip up that way to talk about the changes that we need to have in the Upper Peninsula institutions. So I feel good about it. And other information that the other women, the other sister that was from Survival Speak spoke about, basically the same thing. You know, that our return to citizens should come out different instead of how they went in, and that the programming shouldn't be offered at the end of your bid, but pertaining to the beginning of your bid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I feel like immediately if, I got a line in one of my poems, you know what I'm saying, about rehabilitation, you know what I'm saying, and what rehabilitation really is, you know what I'm saying. So like I don't like that word, you know what I'm saying, but this is, prison the way in its current construct is no place for the rehabilitation that they claim, you know what I'm saying. So if you get a program immediately where you know what I'm saying, it's teaching you life skills and it's, you know what I'm saying, it's giving you something outside of the violence that you just left, you know what I'm saying, because 95% of us are leaving violent communities, violent situations into a more, you know what I'm saying, complex, even more violent environment, you know what I'm saying, when you go to prison. So it's like it's hard to work on yourself when you're in that environment. So if that isn't the case, you know what I'm saying, you're immediately showing, okay, yeah, we're going to separate. I can't say separate the two, you know what I'm saying? Say we get in there and you got one person that just want to wild out from the gate, you know what I'm saying? He like, I don't care about no programs, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do
That's
that.
the individual. That person right there wouldn't fill the questionnaire out because he need to get settled in. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But for those
Yeah.
individuals they say here go. You know, when you first come in, they give you the policy book. You know what I'm saying? You get that policy book. Some people look at keep the policy book to see how They want that for how you supposed to act, avoid tickets and all that. I don't know if they still get that book out when you get in there, but if they get that policy book out, they can add that questionnaire along with the policy book, you know. And
But,
when they
but see, my thing is with that is that it'd help guide some individuals, you know what I'm saying? But then you'll have individuals like me, and I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear nothing they got. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm. That's what the mindset that I was at. You know what I'm saying? At that time, and probably throughout 95% of my incarceration. Like I don't want to hear nothing they got to give me. I don't feel like they trying to help me. You know what I'm saying? Just because of the way the environment is. So, for me, I always just turn to myself, and I feel like I still. You see, I'm here now, and I'm still able to do the things that I'm able to do. You know what I'm saying?
right,
Without these bull crap programs that they try to offer me, you know what I'm saying? Because these programs really held no weight. Now, if the programs that we offering and we trying to, you know what I'm saying, give them, we change the whole scene of what prison is, then I'm all for that, you know what I'm saying? But in the current construct, man, I didn't want nothing, no assistance from the MDOC in any type of way because I felt like everything they was doing was only for the numbers and for the money, and it wasn't for my you know what I'm saying, my benefit and my well being. Like
right.
you can't rehabilitation is something that starts good. So I can rehabilitate my knee because my knee has always been good. My knee has always been intact. But if I blow my knee out, right, then you know what I'm saying, I can rehabilitate it back to that. But if I come from an environment where it's already broken, my household is broken. You know what I'm saying? Everything that I have is broken. And then I go to prison to rehabilitate. What am I rehabilitating back to? A broken family, a broken structure, a broken community? It doesn't work. That doesn't. It's not possible. Rehabilitation is not possible in that environment.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm gonna take this call. This the brother calling.
Yeah, man, cooking. That's a fact, man. Because if I'm already started off in the beginning traumatized, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna rehabilitate me back to traumatized. Like that
Right,
just
you gonna
don't make no
yeah,
sense.
exactly. If you're not
You
fixing
know?
the issues and the shit that was there beforehand, you can't. You know what I'm saying? There's no
Yeah,
way that my trajectory is gonna be in a positive light. It just can't happen that way.
none. And you know what? I think about that too myself. Like just my last bit, that 2.5 years I did. I was supposed to go to boot camp because he sentenced me to 14 months to 5 years. I already had 10 months in before I got sentenced. So I thought like, dang, he gave me 14 months. Maybe they'll just send me to boot camp. And that's what he said he was going to do. But when I got to the joint, they immediately had a parole board. That form they send you when you about to see the board. It was on my bunk my first day of prison. And I
Yeah,
was like, why they send me this? I'm supposed to be going to boot camp. You know what I mean? And they
hmm
ended up denying me parole. And that's how I ended up doing the 2.5. But I remember like, yo, they denied me. They didn't even give me a chance, like, to do nothing. You know what I'm saying? To show
yeah,
nothing. So I remember I had to start building myself. Like I would go to the library and rent books on like finances, how to be a father,
yeah,
parenting techniques. You know what I'm saying? All of the things that I had to figure out by myself. Like I would listen to the things people would say about me. Like what was my baby mama saying about me? Oh, you're a terrible dad. Okay, why am I a terrible dad? Let me find out some books on fatherhood, parenting, how to be a man. You know what I'm saying? And I had to
yeah.
really build up my own curriculum myself and study and self-learn because, like you said, nothing that they offered us was worth anything of any type of value. Like I remember they had those like thinking for change, all of these cognitive decision changing classes, like to try to get you to change your mindset. All of that stuff was garbage because they would only come at you from a base level and nothing really deep, like nothing really helping you with real life. Like, it was always
Right,
like,
well, yeah, they apply that to people that's living regular day life. They don't apply that to individuals that's in a pressure cooker. You know what I'm saying? You can't apply that. It doesn't work. You know what I'm saying? You can't apply that when a person has to worry about whether or not he's gonna survive the day. You know what I'm saying? Like some of these spots, it was violent. You know what I'm saying? Like I used to walk around with a knife daily, you know what I'm saying? Because it was just that violent, bro. Like I can't even go work out without it, you know what I'm saying? Or I gotta
yeah,
have 2 or 3 people with me. You know what I'm saying? And not because I did anything. It just, that's just how it is. You know what I'm saying?
Because it's easy for anybody to make that decision when it comes down to your own personal safety. It's like the young boys on the street say. They say it's better to have it, to live with it, than to live without it. You know what I'm saying? To have it, get caught with it,
Better
than to
get
get
caught
caught
with it than
without it.
caught without it. Yep.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because it's really that serious. Like, I could end up losing my life in this situation. So it's either I have this for my protection or I don't have it and I end up being a victim.
Right.
And that's one thing you learn in prison. Like, you don't want to be a victim. So you learn to protect yourself at all costs. And in the process of protecting ourselves at all costs, that's where the trauma comes in that's associated after when you release. You know what I'm saying?
That's when you lose yourself. You get to falling into that hole, and you can't really understand why you became this violent person. When you know what I'm saying, and then you starting to seeing the way you react to certain things and stuff, and it's just like, damn, this ain't really how I should be reacting. Like, nobody else really around me now that I'm home really react like this. Like, why am I still reacting like this? You know what I'm saying? And why do I feel like this? Why? And I think you know. I thank whoever, man, that I'm blessed to able to be, you know what I'm saying, to have the strong mental fortitude that I had to, able to figure myself out. Because that's what really it was for me. It wasn't no programs or nothing. It was, I always knew I was better than my situation and my circumstances. I wasn't better than nobody, but I was better than my situation. Like, I ain't, you know what I'm saying? And, I understood that I made some choices that put me there. And I was just like, I'm not going to let this define me. I'm not gonna let this hold me back. I'm better than this. Like, I still have my mental space where I'm still intelligent as hell. So I'm like, I can't let it break me. So that was my whole way of making it through my incarceration was my determination not to let them break me and change me into somebody that I'm not. You know what I'm saying? Like a person
Right.
that can't think. Because I made some poor decisions before. That doesn't mean that I can't think and I'm not a thinker. So
Yeah.
that was just my whole goal, my whole incarceration.
If
So
now that you've been home for a minute,
you want me to call him in 20 minutes?
okay, bet.
Bring him
Bet.
on.
That's perfect timing. So now that you've been home for a minute, also, like, if there was one thing that they could have like prepared you for better before you got released, what would that have been like?
I think the unforeseen shit, the shit that I didn't really understand, like the PTSD and the effects of, you know, like I think I spoke about this one time. I just, we live in Jackson, man, and it's a bunch of prisons down here. And I just drove past one day, man, and it just like, I don't know, man, just a bunch of raw ass emotions hit me, you know what I'm saying? And I had like remorse for like the individuals that's in there, like leaving them. I felt guilty for leaving them, you know what I'm saying? I was just like trying to process. It was just a bunch of emotions at the same time, you know what I'm saying? And I was just like, what the fuck is this? You know what I'm saying? Like, where did this come from? Like, why am I tearing up and getting emotional about a place that I hate? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
I hated that place, you know what I'm saying? So then I was just like, it just I just sat back and I just went through the emotions and I was just like, okay, I understand why I don't want to leave them boys in there, you know what I'm saying? But I know there's nothing I can do, you know what I'm saying? And then I'm just like, well, everybody got to do their time, and then I'm just going
yeah,
through, I'm just processing it all. So I think like that, you know, the type of the mental health dealing with the PTSD, because sometimes that type of shit can affect a person further. You know what I'm saying? It can draw them into a depression. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes, like I got to a point where I got I had lost my job with Nation Outside, and I had got to a point where like I ain't have no fucking job. I had just got shot, and I was like, if I didn't have nobody right now, if it wasn't like for my mother again who got me through my incarceration, it wasn't for her, like I'd be on my ass. You know what I'm saying? I'd be out in the
hmm
street. You know what I'm saying? Again, possibly back to the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't have. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have because. You know what I'm saying? I'm fired. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't got a job. So like that, and then that kind of was like wearing on me a little bit. I was like, damn man, come on, like you can't get it. Like what the fuck going on? But so, and when I first came home, like I was able to get a job easy. You know what I'm saying? But And then my second job, I was able to get that easy, but for some reason, like I couldn't get it. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't find one like as soon as I wanted to, and it was starting to wear on me. And I was like, well, now I see how this could wear on people. You know what I'm saying? That don't have opportunities that I had. You know what I'm saying? Or can't
Yeah.
articulate themselves in a way that I can. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, I was trying to, come to come to terms with it. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes that type of stuff right there will catch you off guard. And
Yeah. It
you
still
know,
bothers me to this day because of that same thing. It still bothers me today because no matter how long I've been home, no matter how much I do in the community, I still can't get the certain jobs that I want. Like, it's easy to get the jobs I don't want. You know, the jobs that really ain't gonna be life changing. The
yeah,
jobs that really not gonna allow me to feel like a financially stable man. You know, you can get those type of jobs, like them jobs that just want your back. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
well, yeah. You working your ass off all day. You know what I'm
Yeah, you
saying?
know, for pennies. Like, I don't want them jobs. The jobs that I want, you know what I mean, in the case management world, the social work world, all of the places that I built the experience the last 8 years, you know, those organizations still have a hard time with hiring people like us. And that's what we need to change the narrative at and get people to understand that the people closest to the problem
It's
are the
closest to
most
the
equipped.
solution.
Yes, we most equipped, man, to handle the solutions, the problems, and the resources. We most comfortable with the clients. We most comfortable navigating the system and doing all of the things that's required for that job to serve the population.
Yeah, I mean, I agree wholeheartedly. Like I mean, I say this humbly, you know what I'm saying, and I say it with respect, you know what I'm saying, to everybody that does, you know, deal with the youth and stuff. But I feel like the way my connection with the youth and the way that my message delivers to the youth is just because that when you see me, you still see a young individual. You know what I'm saying? I still walk in, I got the Jordans on and stuff like that. I'm relatable to the youth. You know what I'm saying? So when I talk to them, the message is delivered. You know what I'm saying? Well, and because I know how I was when I was a youth, and every time somebody came to talk to me about, you know, doing the right thing or whatever, they was all in, you know, hard bottom shoes and ties and suits, you know what I'm saying? They was all uppity and, oh, I've been there, done that type of stuff. Nobody really wanted to hear that, you know what I'm saying? I didn't want to hear it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Which why I went to prison, you know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, like because it wasn't relatable. Like at the end of the day, yeah, you okay, you might have went through some stuff, but you ain't going through what I'm going through right now. You ain't relating how I'm relating, you know what I'm saying, to what I'm going through.
yeah,
So I feel like that's what connects me to the people as well too. Cause I'm like, you know, when I come to the people, I don't try to come in there using no big words and talking some stuff that they can't understand. I'm talking to them how they understand it, you know what I'm saying? And I'm telling them, you know what I'm saying, how they can understand it. You know, no, that ain't gonna work, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. Like I just be a relatable person, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm relatable and that's how I get my message across, you know.
okay. I think we got our call-in guest in.
All right, so
Yeah,
I got the brother on the screen, man. I don't know if you can see him or not just
yes,
yet.
sir. We
What's up
got him
with the
on. How
bruh,
you
man?
doing, brother?
On my screen or your screen?
Welcome home, bruh.
So introduce yourself, bro, and let the live know you know who you are, where you been,
Yes,
and how
sir.
many days you been out.
Yes, sir. My name is Calvin Joseph Williams Bay, 51 years old. I just did 32 and a half years in the Department of Corrections, a juvenile lifer at the age of 18. I've been home now for about 4 days now. This is my fourth day now. And I'm vacationing with my people. You're up north, you know what I'm saying? Trying to get me away and just let me get a week to just zone on out, man. Get back into this thing. You hear me?
Yeah. Hmm.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
I
sir.
got a couple. I know we got a couple of questions for you, man. You know, because
Okay.
this whole network of what we're doing is about returning citizens, and
Yes, sir.
and as a returning neighbor, you know, as a returning citizen, you know, coming home. What was your experience as going into prison at a young age of 18?
Going into prison at 18, man, you know, especially from my background, I came up in group homes and foster care was it's sad to say, but it was normalized, you know. It was traumatic in the respect of the violence because the violence was different with weapons and the type of weapons being used, but it was all the same. You know, the system had programmed the guy to wear A, B, C, D, and if you do this, this is the result. And if you don't do this, this ain't the result. So the biggest culture shock was just like the level of sophistication of the penal system itself, the ticket system itself, counselors and the what's the best word to tell it to you? The fact that they didn't care. You just a number there, and you served a purpose, and that's that. So for me going in, man, I think that was the biggest shock, was just like the type of violence, sophistication of the violence, and also even the mental and the emotional violence you felt from the administration.
Yeah, because we were just speaking on that about the conditions of how it went was you first going in, and also was expressing that you really don't want their help because they're not offering no help.
They're not offering it. It sounds good on paper when the taxpayer's paying the dollars, but what really happens inside MDOC is a whole different story.
Absolutely. So
your
journey through prison at your 16th year, your 18th year.
Yeah.
That's when you start.
I was wilding. I came in YBI, so I came in with a different mentality. So I was wilding, getting into it for like 7 years. It wasn't until my 7th year that I had I ain't gonna say my 7th year. That's the year that I cut it off, and I really turned the script. But going up to that 7th year, man, I was getting it in. You know what I'm saying? I was doing what everybody else do, following to the system they set for us to mimic to keep them in business. You know what I'm saying? Whether it was extortion, knife fights, you know what I'm saying, fist fights, moving narcotics, you know what I'm saying, all of that. You know what I'm saying? I fell in line with how we thought it was supposed to go. And during that process, through the teachings of religious teachings and family support and other men who had went home, and some of them who, reached back, and other volunteers, man, they saw something in me I didn't know I had within myself, that I had a lot of leadership skills that I wasn't even using. And I was playing the puppet game because they told me that's what I was. When you come through a system that gives you a name and a number and treats you like property, whatever you came in with, you got to hold on strong to remain a human and remain a person of substance and purpose, because their whole idea was to strip that. You just a number, and your purpose is to keep us fed. That's it. That's why it's no coincidence, Brother Riggins-Hill, that all these prisons sit in communities that have no industry, but they serve as an industry for those communities. Jackson, Ionia, Carson City. You take prisons away from these communities, and the finance leave immediately. These communities become nothing.
Yeah, I was just talking to a senator that got he's a senator in the Upper Peninsula prison, and that's what he said. The people in them communities work at them prisons. So
yeah.
They don't really look at they looking at you when you come there. You part of their liability at that point.
Facts.
And without you, they ain't got no job.
Nothing. They got nothing going on, and I don't knock them for that. So let's get this straight. I don't knock nobody for wanting to provide a living for their family. You know what I'm saying? But at what cost to the men and women that are returning home, or the neighbors that are returning home? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. At some point, you gotta add it up to where it makes sense both ways, for the community at large and also for the industry. Because when you think about it, me and you both know we've met men in there that they where they need to be at. We met a lot of men in there that they've reformed and changed, and they give them the hardest time to get free.
Absolutely.
The hardest time.
Absolutely.
Because they know they ain't gonna get their hands back on them once they get free. You know what I'm saying? They know they done. You look at the new model that MDOC have come up with because of finance, strictly because of finance. Now you want to put colleges back in. How long have we been begging for colleges to be open to everybody in prison, not just guys going home? Not even that, even lifers. We've been begging for that, and right. Now you just wait until now to do it now.
So how since what have you accomplished while you was in prison, and what are you doing now while you're out of prison? Since through your accomplishments that you made when you made your transition from being collectively engaged with returning citizens and changing the trajectory of how prison is ran.
Well, I'm a force, so when you put force into play, it moves. So when I got to it, my mom and dad paid for our education, secular. I had the religious education already underneath me, you know what I'm saying? And I was founded in that with a degree in theology already in that. So ordained ministry. But then, you know, I took a different path religiously and became a more and started seeing that. Then when you added my educational, you know, I went to Louisiana State University. We paid for that out of pocket. You know what I'm saying? The socials and that. My thing was sociology and psychology, because I know these are the things we need to understand to help fix men and women. So I got knee deep in cognitive-based therapy, dialectic-based therapy, and I started running programs with my partner, Joshua Puckett, when we started TARP. I've been sitting on the board of TARP as executive director for the Gang Gun Violence Intervention Program for the last 15 years now. And what we do in there is we run programs where we get some names that guys wouldn't believe within our programs to change their thinking and to make them understand they have to be concerned with their community. They have to be concerned with their relatives, because the violence they perpetrate and others see and imitate is going to affect them someday. And we've had outstanding results. You know what I'm saying? One of I got to give a big shout out to my man Jose, also known as Chewy, because he's my chief facilitator who I train personally in there right now. And he's going to be running my gang gun violence intervention program, you know, right in there right now. And I mean, he was the head of the Cobras, you know, and he came in the program and he thought it was garbage. He said, man, I came to this program to get a certificate, see what's about. He said, man, when y'all got up in there, man, I saw it's the real deal. So when we start investing in men like that, we get changes. So for me, what happened was that I took all these skills that I had gained from Allah, my family, my peers, and support, and I did that. So when you talk about that core member of Chance for Life, I facilitated every class they've had, and also every class they had. I did that for the last 20 years. Board member of TARP, as I told you that already. I was set on, I'm a theory group member of University of Michigan Dearborn, TA classes for them. I've taught civic engagement. Man, I've done so much, man, that is ridiculous. Civic engagement, I've taught family. I taught another class which was very important to me, which was fatherhood. Just teaching men how to be real fathers and understand what compassion really is, because as men of color, we think we can't cry. We think we got to be super tough, and you know, we can't show no emotion, and that's not that. You know, we have to understand we're human beings, and our young men need to see that.
Man, so is anybody on the live got any questions for the brother?
Yeah, ask him what was his first 72 hours release like, and was there any agencies or organizations that had any support for him as a returning citizen to help
you asked
him?
me a question too about what I was doing when I came home.
Yeah, right quick. The brother Justin Counts, he wanted to know how have your first 72 hours been since coming home?
Man, beautiful. Let me tell you what I did. When I first got out, I got to it. So I went down to the People's Action. I talked to some children in the diversion program. They got a 90-day program where if they get caught with guns or using guns, Wayne County will send them there. And if they complete it, they don't give them a charge. They give them a chance. I blew down in there my first day out. I didn't go, listen, man, I didn't go to see nothing but them. Because if it's in you, it's in you. And if it ain't, it ain't. So I went down there, man, and talked with them young brothers, man. They gave them an eye open. I showed them what that state ID looked like, what that parole ID looked like, and what that Michigan driver's license looked like. You know what they all had in common? I was in Michigan Department of Correction Blues, in every last one of them.
Man.
And I gave them a reality check. You know, like, I can't tell you what to do, but I can tell you what the result is of what you do, what's going to happen, and how it's going to play out.
Yeah. How they receive that? How did they receive that?
Oh, man, phenomenal. I mean, phenomenal, man. It warmed my heart. It warmed my heart to see these young brothers really got it. But you can't, listen, this is what we going wrong at. If you a dope man, teach the dope boys. You hear me? If you a scammer, teach the scammers the right way, because they can vibe on your experience. But if you're not a violent person, they never been a violent person, trust me, wolves smell wolves. You hear what I'm saying? And what we've been messing up at is we putting the wrong tools in play. You got to use. Because I can't go talk to some of them boys that scam. I ain't never scammed. I done sold plenty of dope and I done did plenty of violence. So I know what they feeling, and I know how to counter what they feeling, and to give them alternative modes to get around that to where they come out successful and society benefit from it. And that's what we got to focus up on, because we got boys out there that's done some great things, even on the illegal side. Now we flipping the script and we doing it the right way on the right side and stopping these youngsters, man.
Yes, sir.
That's what we talking about.
So yeah, that's what I've been on, man. I got some more engagements involved, but my mom and dad, they put the brakes on me, man. They say, listen, your butt going up north, as y'all can see, man. You know, I'm literally in the forest right now. This is no cap. From prison on a paid force, you know what I'm saying? And they say, you go find yourself, and we want you. And then when you get done with that, then you're gonna go and get back at it. So
Absolutely.
when I get back out there,
that. Contemplate. You know what the prophets say, man. Contemplate
thy frame as Islam. Islam.
You in the wilderness, man. So whatever thoughts to come to your mind, just like how Jesus did, man. I received that's coming to you. So when you come up,
yes, sir.
Get back to the city. Are you residing in Detroit, or where are you residing at?
I'm outside. I'm in Oakland County, so I'm gonna be in Detroit though. I got now the beautiful thing. I got rooms all over. You know, just in case to get away from mom and dad. You know, get them time. So I got rooms all over. So I'm gonna be all over the place. But I'm definitely gonna be active in Detroit and doing my program work out of Detroit, and then we're gonna go to Wayne County. So we bouncing back and forth. So I'm gonna be busy, but I love it. I love it. You know, between work, school, and I love it, man.
Ask them what's the best way family and friends can support a returning neighbor upon coming home.
What's the best ways that families can support a returning citizen coming home?
Don't put a lot of expectations on them that you have that you think they should do. Ask them. Man never knows. You know what I'm saying? And you don't know until you ask, bro. So ask them, hey, what you off into? What you want to do? How you feeling about this? And compromise if it's something that you don't think is right. But don't think you got the key, because you ain't been through what we've been through. You ain't lived how we live. Right. So you don't know how we think. So ask. We willing to compromise. We willing to show, but don't just like my mom and dad. They don't assume. They ask, hey, how you doing? What you think about this? Is that too much for you? And if it is, I tell them. And if it ain't, hey, you know, let's go. But ask them. Vibe out with them. See what they really got going on. Just don't be happy they home. Be happy they home and find out who they are. Like they got to find out who you are.
I got another question for you, bro. Your departure from prison, man, leaving from wherever you, from what institution that you was at, your departure from
Macomb Correctional.
Okay, departure from Macomb Correctional, man. How was that departure with the brothers?
Man, it was beautiful, man. You know, I had 10 people show up, you know, and I went home in like a car train. I'm not exaggerating when I tell you that, man. I'm gonna send you some of the videos of my departure coming home, because we videotaped it, you know. It was beautiful, man. It was beautiful. So, but the car ride, man, that car ride was something different. My stomach was all queasy. I had to have the air down because the AC was making me sick, you know, because I rode in the Cadillac home, and then, you know, my brother got an AMG Benz, and so when I'm in between them two cars, I'm sick, you know, because of the AC. But man, it was beautiful, man, just being around family, you know, and then just riding, man. I was just taking in the sights. Everything seemed small.
Yeah.
You know, everything seems small. You've been in the industrial state, everything big, but it was beautiful, man. Meeting people. So, you know, a lot of phobias that guys have coming home, I didn't have. So that's a good thing. I don't know where all mine going to be, but I didn't have no issue being around nobody, being in no loud places or nothing like that. And a lot of guys do. You know,
down at the returning citizens, did you like that?
A lot of returning citizens come home and they be having different.
I'm talking about the engagement that we went to down at the spirit of.
Oh, that was beautiful. Oh man, you see me down. That was beautiful. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hey, listen, and we need. My only thing about that is that we need to organize it better. But it was beautiful because we showed up and we let the people see who we are and what we're capable of doing. We just got to organize a little bit better. But the fact that they recognize us and they understand that we are of value and that we help support and add to the community, man, can't get around it, man.
Next year gonna be awesome, man.
Come on, man. And I'm gonna be playing a part in that to make that even better. You hear me?
Absolutely.
So listen, I got to get off this.
Questions?
Yeah, I got to get off this trail and get home. I got to take this stuff to my sister so she can put it up, man. But anytime y'all need to talk to me or want to talk, just give me a holler, man. You hear me?
Okay, well, thanks for coming on as well, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Peace. Hey, go with God and be blessed, man. Love y'all. You hear me?
Yes, sir.
Peace and love.
Yeah, man, that was dope, man. I appreciate the brother for tapping in, man. And once again, want to give him another round of applause for coming home and getting right to it, man. That's how you come home and get to it, man. It always amazes me at how men and women, when they come home from prison, a lot of them come home right. They get right to it, like, and they always start programming. Like it's crazy how many of us do that. Like we always come right home and see a need. Like, man, we gotta come out here and do something with these kids. We gotta do something with these adults. You know, we always figure something out, like to add to the community, man. And it's because I think it's we be sitting in themselves and we be thinking like, dang, if somebody would have just came and talked to me before, I wouldn't end up here. You know what I mean? If somebody would have just intervened, or if I had something to do, or you know what I mean? I lost y'all. I lost y'all on the audio. What happened?
You got me? You
Yep,
hear
I
me?
got. Yeah,
Okay.
Dion muted.
Oh yeah,
Yep. Yeah, that was I thought Blake was on there for a minute. He jumped back off.
Yeah, he was on there for a second, then he fell right back off of there.
It say you offline too, I think. At least I thought it did.
You see the brother, man, come home, jump right into the work, man, and that's what you got to do, you know, because if you don't do that, I'm not gonna say for him, but for some people, they don't jump off into doing the work, they'll lose interest on what they got going on.
I
I mean,
know
yeah,
for me, I
it's
felt.
hard. It's hard. It's hard for individuals that have done as much time as us to have not seen the struggle and want to come home and try to change it. You know what I'm saying? You know, unless you just really don't care about nobody else. But you know, I grew up in prison, unfortunately. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of them guys that I left behind was closer than my brothers. You know what I'm saying? Like they family, but they not, they not blood, but they family. So like knowing that they still in there suffering, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just out here just, oh yeah, let me just go live my life. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing to pick up a phone, but it's another thing to actually try to change and try to do some shit that'll help them in the future. You know what I'm saying? So like, for me, I just couldn't go on with the rest of my life and not stand up for what I believe in. I'm always the rebel, bro. I'm always gonna stand up. If I don't like something, bro, I don't care what the cost is. I'm gonna say something. I don't care if I got a job and you know what I'm saying, this is my boss saying, okay, do this, do this. If I don't agree with it, I'm not gonna sit there and say, just shake my head and be the yes man. I'm like, nah, man, that shit ain't right. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna
Right.
say what everybody else scared to say. I'm gonna say it. So, I'm gonna continue to go through my whole life, man, and I'm gonna scream that the MDOC is crooked and we need to be better for the individuals coming home because I done seen this too much, man. Like the mental health of individuals come home, they they you know what I'm saying, they killing themselves, man, to not go back to that shit, and that shit ain't cool.
It definitely need a revamping to it, man. Because just to throw some thoughts out here, they got in other countries, man. You go to prison in Sweden somewhere, or the UK somewhere, man. Them prisons is the structure way totally different than the prisons here in the United States, man.
Yeah.
So they
And we
they
ain't asking, and it's not like, because I don't want people to think like we, because a lot of people have a false view of prison and they think that we just laying around all day. We get 3 hots in the cot and it's the easy life and we get free health care. They think that it's like a sweet thing and that it's like a vacation. But, you talking about one of the, the most stressful environments being thrown in. Um, Lack of structure to where there's nothing positive to do. There's very limited positive things to do. I'm not gonna say there's nothing positive, but there's very limited positive things to do. A lot of times, the classes that you need to get out of prison, they be so full and so far behind that it takes you years and years to get in those classes. And sometimes guys get flopped and they end up having to stay longer because they can't get in those classes. And those are the things that we're trying to change. Like
We want them to add more constructive things, bring back the trades, teach us new stuff, teach us the AI, teach us robotics, give us something constructive to do, because we see what happens in prison when you do that, when you create industries and you give them new skills, positive things to do, it's going to be better for everybody, especially those who turn back to the track.
Yeah, the audio kind of messed up on you, Justin, but yeah. I mean, also I feel like this. I feel like this, man. Like people don't understand that the individuals that's incarcerated pretty much run the prison. Only thing we ain't got is the keys. You know what I'm saying? So we cooking for everybody. You know what I'm saying? We cleaning all the stuff up. You know what I'm saying? So and a lot of these guys, a lot of times, individuals coming to prison. And they was providing for their families. They was a sole provider for their families. They got kids, they got wives, you know what I'm saying? And now these families are left without the help of that individual, right? So we working in these systems for pennies. You know what I'm saying? 17 cents.
Yeah,
Like,
a day.
you know what I'm saying? Like if you want me to work, you know what I'm saying, 8, 10 hours a day, 12 hours, give me a wage that not only I can live off in prison, you know what I'm saying, where I can only spend $75 every 2 weeks, you know what I'm saying, which what I need, $300 a month, if that, you know what I'm saying? But give me some money where I can help with my family that, you know what I'm saying, I ain't being able to financially support no more, you know what I'm saying? But you got me working in here for pennies on the dollar, where anywhere else it's at least a 12, 13, $15 job, you know what I'm saying, an hour.
When
Yeah.
those
Like, come on.
conversations come up about that, man, that got a lot to do with the Constitution, man. I feel when you got that's a slave wage,
It
and
is.
Constitution, that's what it state that you're gonna be worked as a slave. It's slave once you break a crime, once you commit a crime and get put in confinement, then you up under that constitutional rule that you got to work for slave wages. But we know that in prison they make man listen. Not to be letting the cat out the bag, but shit, I know people that have made a lot of money in prison. That was living well off the expense of other inmates. You know what I'm saying? Because and that go a lot of that go on. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people owe, and some of the parents and some of the relatives is paying that tab to these individuals that's making money, even to the correctional officers. I know a few correctional officers that they got paid in the institution. You know what I'm saying? Then they got caught and all that, but they still making money.
Yeah.
More than that,
Everything
more than
about
that,
prison is money.
more than the wages that the institution is offering. That 13 cent or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it's a
That's
big
why.
issue at the end of the day, man. And people gonna make money in any circumstances. Some of them gonna be preyed on, and some of them gonna be, the ones that's gonna be the prayers. You know what I'm saying? Bringing that stuff to make the money.
And that's why we need fair wages in prison. I remember I was considered a skilled worker, a skilled worker in prison. So I got to work in the prison hospital. I think at first I was a porter, so I was just cleaning up rooms in the hospital. I was on gate pass, but I was only making $1.67 a day. You know what I'm saying?
You
And,
was
and
balling. You was
yeah,
balling up that $1.67 a day.
yeah, I was considered balling, and I
Yeah.
remember getting those paychecks because I never had people like I tried not to have family send me money while I was in prison, so I try to support myself strictly off of what I made inside the joint, and I think I would make like $60 a month, maybe if that, $40 a month, whatever it would come out to, and looking at the store, it was $1 for soap. You know what I'm saying? Underwears, just underwears is $8. People think that you get underwear for free in prison. Like you gotta buy boxers and they $8 for one pair of boxers. You know what I'm saying? You gotta buy all these things, your soap, your toothpaste. And I would see guys every week at the store, making decisions like, damn, do I eat? Do I get some phone card money so I can call home?
Do
Do I
I
buy
eat or
some
do I
pants?
buy this deodorant?
Do I buy some deodorant? You would see guys walking around funky because they wanted something to eat, or you like, or they wanted a phone card because they got, stuff going on at home, like all these things, man. And then you would see other guys that was more financially stable, and I seen some guys that were actually contributing to their family systems while they were inside. So they were sending out checks home monthly to their family to still pay bills and you know what I'm saying, still do stuff like that. And I was like, dang, that's them cats is fortunate because the majority of us we in here struggling every single day, or you gotta find hustles. I quickly learned like, yo, you could draw, you could make cards, you could do all these things to make a little hustle for yourself, make candy, all these things to kind of flip, little double up your money. But at the end of the day, you working for these slave laborers and you working for change. But they could be taking some of this money that they generating off of us and could be actually using that to give us a decent wage. I mean, we don't even need much, like you said. Like even if you took us to the bare minimum, like your bare minimum wage that across the country, like you give us that bare minimum. At least guys could stack up money and they can have some money to be able to afford an apartment when they come home or be able to buy some clothing for themselves when they come home. When you're making 17 cents a day, I don't care how long you stack that up. When you come home,
Yeah, it ain't gonna be nothing. 17 cents don't add up to shit out here. I don't yeah. Like it ain't gonna be nothing. So, you know, yeah, that it's ridiculous. So that's always been one of my things too. Is like the wages in there and the amount of hours that people work. And yeah, it's always gonna be somebody that found a way. I was one of them ones. I found a way everywhere I was at until I said I'm retired. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And and even then it didn't really escape me. They were still because I had built up such a reputation. They was like, hey, what's up? What we doing? I ain't doing nothing now. I'm retired. You know what I'm saying? I'm out the game now. I'm ready to, you know what I'm saying, slow down and start making better decisions. So, but yeah, I mean, it's always gonna be a will. If there's a will, there's a way. You know what I'm saying to do it. That don't necessarily benefit the individuals in the long term. You know what I'm saying? If if a whole time I'm just selling drugs while I'm incarcerated, you know what I'm saying? The chances of me coming home and not selling drugs is, you know what I'm saying, slim to none, So,
yeah,
I did what I had to do to make the load light as I could on my people that looked out for me, my mother, you know what I'm saying? And then when it was time to chill and time to change my actions, I sat back and I did without when I had to, and my mama sent me what she could when she could, and I just made it happen. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
you know, at some of them times was a little bit less lavish than they was beforehand. You know what I'm saying? But I made it through. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah. I was the same way that I am now in prison. I learned the hustle for a living, how to flip, how to hustle legally in the joint. You know what I'm saying? My very first hustle, just like Kerry said, was those handmade cards. I had a guy that was a tattoo artist as a bunkie, and he was getting out, and he was like, yo, I'm going to leave you my stencil book. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, yo, I don't know how to draw. He's like, yo, you don't got to. All you got to do is trace this joint. You're going to make some bread. You know what I'm saying? $3 a card. So I'm like, bet. I got on, start doing that hustle. You know what I'm saying? Doing the cards, learning how to shade the pictures and stuff. And I'm like, oh, that's a flip. Then I learned, or I could be the store man too. So I started selling the pops, all the candies, everything. I always found me a flip in prison. You know what I'm saying? I was attracted to that because I seen walking the yard like everybody hustling. You know what I'm saying? Cats was making candy ropes, fudge bars, all
yeah,
types of things.
fudge. I got on the fudge train. I was on the fudge train running the store for a minute once what I'm saying, stopped hustling illegally. You know what I'm saying? I was doing I was doing it all too. I ain't gonna lie. I was shit making
Man,
candy. I was selling coffee and everything. I ain't that's one of the biggest sellers is that coffee. Like I don't care
biggest
who you
fellas.
are, what facility you at. You got some coffee, it's going.
Coffee
They
like
want that
crack.
coffee. Yeah. Yeah, and I never drank coffee, so it was always, you know what I'm saying, it was
Always
always
on deck.
easy for me to get rid of.
Yeah, that's always big currency, man.
Yeah,
Always
for
big
sure.
currency. Hey, I don't know why or what it is about prison fudge, but to this day, when I eat real fudge, I'll be like, this ain't it.
I told you I'm gonna make some bars. I'm gonna make about 60 bars and I'm gonna pull up to the shop and I'm gonna just drop them things off. They gonna be called Beyond the Bars Fudge. I'm telling you, they're gonna be fire.
I tell you, we need it, man, because I'll be like, damn, this ain't it, man.
Yeah, man, I'm trying to tell you, I had some at the fairgrounds, some fudge, and I was like, let me get the peanut butter fudge. I'm tired of peanut butter. I was like, yeah, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like this ain't this. Y'all don't really know what y'all doing for real. You know, like give me a microwave, a pound of sugar, and a thing of peanut butter, boy. I'm gonna show y'all what to do.
Fudge. Yeah.
Man,
Well, some of the stuff that y'all was talking about earlier, man, pertaining to, the wages and all that. That's part of reform. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot what our legislators need to be talking about too when we talk about prison reforming. You know what I'm saying? The changing the money, the issue how people make money, changing how people go to school, learn and stuff like that. But like you were saying earlier, Justin, that some people want people to go to prison and suffer, from whatever crime that they committed. They want you, they feel society, some people in society feel that if you suffered a little bit or more than you should have suffered for taking my loved one's life or whatever, they want you to suffer. And sometimes, suffering, some people don't, some people do. Some people go to prison do heinous stuff and go to prison and become the top. You know what I'm saying? They making money. They doing living. They don't even want to get out.
Yep.
For real.
Yep. Or some of them, like I seen a dude that, he liked dudes and he didn't want to go home. He was like, I'm good here. I get taken care of every day. I get fed. He's like, I ain't gotta do nothing. Like I'm good here. And he was comfortable in prison. Cause for him that was like a buffet, I guess. So, you know, to each his own. Every person is different. So while you thinking like one person suffering for and being in prison, everybody ain't that way. It even threw me off in quarantine. Like, you'll see the young cats coming in the quarantine and everybody laughing and joking and smiling. And I remember they asking each other, how much time you got? And they like, I got 40, I got 60. And I'm like, damn, they laughing and joking still. Like, I'll be sick.
it ain't hit them yet. It ain't hit them yet. They still 18, 19, 20, 21. It ain't hit them yet. They don't care. When they
Yeah,
get 26, 27, 28, they're gonna be like, all right, this ain't starting to look so fun. Then they hit 30, they're gonna be like, fuck, man, what the fuck I do, man? I'm stuck in this bitch. I'm ready to go home. I've been in this bitch 12 years. I can't go home. Like, this some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
then life get to really talking in, yeah. 'Cause
And
I mean, I
see,
was the same way. I didn't laugh. I didn't laugh. I didn't think it was funny, but I used to just be like, it was kind of like I would hear other people say, "Oh yeah, I got 5 years. I got 7." I would be like, "Shit, I got 21." You know what I'm saying? Like, it was weird. Like I was like, I wasn't trying to celebrate it, but also it was like I think it was like I don't know if it was a badge of honor or if it like made me feel like I was some type of badass or what I'm saying, whatever it was. But I remember doing that to an extent too, and then I was just like, man. And then I started running to motherfuckers like, shit, I got life, I got life, I got life. And I was just like,
Mm.
yeah, my 21 ain't really, what I'm saying, my
No.
shit ain't really shit. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah. I never got
Yeah.
to see that side of it because I only did 2.5. So I only seen how those guys was coming in and how they was acting. But when I got to the hospital and I'm in Dwayne Waters, it really messed me up because I would clean the rooms, right? I'm cleaning the rooms where guys that is in prison, it's their house now because they in the hospital. So
Yeah.
every dude, I would look at their tag and see what level they was on. You know what I'm saying? That way I can get a guy idea like how dangerous he might be. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm about to be in his room. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Mopping with him. You know what I'm saying? They don't take him out, so I'll be in there with him. So I would always look at the tag and you would see these young faces, and then you get in there and they be old as hell. You like, damn, like you been in this boy 30 years. He
Yeah.
like, damn, and they in there dying. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So me seeing that part, I was like, yeah, I'm straight on this. I'm
Yep.
straight. I don't want to be up in here dying like that. Cause that's like one
No.
of the worst ways to die, man. And people think we get free health care. I had a nurse one time. She told me, she was like, she's like, I just graduated. I was like, oh, what are you? She's like, where you graduate from? And she was like, I'm a veterinarian. I was like, damn, what you doing working in here? She was like, I just needed a job real quick. I'm
That's
Mm.
like,
crazy.
damn, so you ain't even really trained to work with humans. You trained to work with animals.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it sound about right.
That's
But
why they
the
put
food
her
they
in
was
prison.
giving
That's
us,
why
the
she works
food used
in
to
the
say
prison.
not for human consumption on the box and shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
Facts.
I remember one time I was at Jackson. I was in Jackson behind the wall. I was in think I was in 4 block, and I had broke my arm. I had like a little fracture in my arm. My arm was broke, and I go back to the cell and shit. I had did it on the yard. I go back to the cell. I tell the police, I'm like, hey, listen, like my arm fucked up. You know what I'm saying? I think like I had broke some bones before, so I tell them like, yeah, I think it's broke. You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, you can move it. You can move it. I'm like, yeah, I can move it. You know what I'm saying? It's straight, but I think it's, you know what I'm saying, it's still broke. I can feel it. So like, all right, they send me to healthcare. I go to healthcare. I'm over there, just a little nurse or whatever. They're like, you can move it. I'm like, yeah, I can move it and shit. So I do the movement. They're like, yeah, I don't think it's broke. You know what I'm saying? You know, whatever. And I'm just like, so they're like, here, just take these little ibuprofens. You know what I'm saying? And head back to the cell. And I'm like, listen, man, my shit broke. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm telling you, I broke bones before. I done broke my leg before. This time I done broke my hand. I done broke my elbow. I'm like, I done broke bones before. I know what it feel like. Like it's broke. Nah, yeah, all right. You know what I'm saying? If it give you a couple days, if it still hurt, we'll send you over to get some X-rays. I'm like a couple days. I'm like, all right. So that night, now being in 4 and 5 block, I know that the healthcare they leave at a certain time because they got Dwayne Waters over there and they keep staff over there all night. So I wait till third shift come in, and I'm in there and I just lay down on the ground. You know what I'm saying? Third shift come through their round. They're like, "What's wrong?" I like, "Man, I'm in too much pain. I really ain't in no pain at all, really. You know what I'm saying? But I know my arm is broke." So I'm like, I'm laying down on the ground. I'm putting on the act. You know what I'm saying? They're like, "What's wrong?" I like, "Man, my arm broke. Like I try to tell them early, like you need to send me to healthcare right now. Like my shit to the hospital. My shit broke." So boom. Finally send me to the hospital. They send me over there, Dwayne Waters, in third shift. It's like 12:30 at night. Get in there, the doctor come in. He like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "Man, I think my arm broke." He looking at it. Oh, you can move it. I'm like, "Yeah." He do the little test on the elbow. He like, "Oh, it ain't broke." And this the doctor. I'm at the hospital. I'm like, "Man, it's broke." So he like, "All right." He said, "Well, how about this? If it's broke, you know," he's like, "You want to bet you a gambler, man?" And I was like, "Yeah, kinda." You know what I'm saying? He was like, "All right, if it's broke, we'll do this, and this. If it's broke, you got to go back. You can't never come over here again. You blase split." I'm like, "All right, but if it's broke, I want a chicken sandwich and a pop out the machine." You know what I'm saying? Boom, he come back. He do the X-rays on me. He come back like 5 minutes later. He was like, "Well, you right. There is a crack in it. It is broke." I said, "I know. I told you, motherfuckers. I've been telling y'all this for fucking 10 hours now." You know what I'm saying? Like, I know what a broken bone feels like. You know what I'm saying? So they end up putting the cast on me and sending me back. But these are the type of hoops and stuff that you have to go through, you know what I'm saying, for this free healthcare. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
yeah, free comes with a price. Bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'll go
yeah.
over there with a broken leg and they'll tell you just drink some water. You know what I'm saying? Like, what?
I seen that firsthand, dog. I would go to work and watch how guys got treated up in there, and that's what really changed my life. Cause seeing that every day, seeing guys get stabbed up, from different joints, and they get transported there, and they be in there screaming all day. Nurses don't really give a damn. They moving slow as hell. You know what I'm saying? You see the crazy people that lost their mind in the joint, and they put them in the crazy unit up in there, and they got them in the padded cells every day, and they be going crazy. They don't be cutting their nails, and they be in there looking like grand wizards because all their hair grow out and their toenails grow out, and they be having them strapped up in chairs all day. Dog, I was like, yeah, never will I
Yeah.
be in that.
Man, for real,
Never.
I ain't gonna lie. That was always one of my things too. I had seen a couple guys in there that was just like needed like aid. You know what I'm saying? And just the way they got treated, and I was just like, man, I can't go out like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
I can't go out
Man.
like that. You know what I'm saying? It just be bad, man. And then you know, like I said, you see people in there die. I seen people die like get unalived in front of my eyes, you know what I'm saying, and just pass away. Like, you know what I'm saying. A couple of my mans passed away from COVID, like right before I came home. Like,
Damn.
you know, it was crazy the way they handled COVID in there too. I don't even think people really understand the
Yeah, I
whole.
was gonna ask, what was that like with the COVID situation?
So I came home in August of 2020, so that was right in at the ass end of COVID, right?
Mm.
But I was going to see the parole board right when COVID hit. So when what happened was, I don't care what nobody say, I stand on this, I believe this wholeheartedly. When they was on CNN every day with the counting of COVID. Oh, COVID's in Florida, it's in New York, it's in this is before any case was in Michigan. We didn't have zero cases confirmed in Michigan. The weekend before, probably like 7 or 8 people from my unit went on a visit on a Saturday. Sunday, every last one of them was sick.
Mm.
Now, one of the homies, his people, had just came back from Florida. They had came back from Florida on that Thursday. On that Saturday, they came to visit him. His aunt stayed home because she was sick. His uncle came. The next day on Sunday, everybody, all of them people that was on the visit, they was all sick, and it got probably 60 to maybe 100 people in the unit sick, and then there was people in the front units that started getting sick, and the front units noticed it first because that's where all the administration was at. You know what I'm saying? All the like if the warden walks through, he's walking through the first unit. Where I was all the way in the back, so he very rarely made it all the way back out there. This at Macomb, and when that happened, like they was like, oh, it's the flu, it's the flu, so they shut down all movement. Oh, it's the flu, it's the flu. Guys was in there getting sick, they couldn't come out, so they locked down all the units. Then like a week later, they get the first confirmed case in Michigan. Now we got this COVID in the Michigan. You know what I'm saying? So then probably like they kept saying it was like 2 weeks after, oh, it's the flu, it's the flu, it's the flu. And then it was, oh, it's COVID. You know what I'm saying? We tested guys with COVID. So what they did was they took guys that was sick and brought them all the way back to our unit. Now, mind you, it had already flowed through our unit, so we was kind of already we was already straight. But what they did was they brought everybody that was sick back to our unit and took us and put them up there in their unit, up in the front. But they never separated us. So they come back, they're sick. As I'm leaving out my cell, I'm like, yeah, what's up, bro? You know what I'm saying? Okay, see you later. And then I'm going right back up front with the COVID. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? So the shit never went nowhere. It just rotated and rotated and rotated around. You know what I'm saying? And then they brought in the National Guard. They had the National Guard test us all. You know, but by then it's too late. It
Yeah.
didn't already ran its course, but 10 people done died already. You know what I'm saying? Like, but they just kept, so then they're moving us into the gym. They're trying to separate us. Like, what do you just leave everybody where they're at? There was no need for you to move anybody. The shit is gonna go through what it's gonna do its process. You moving people just exposes the people that ain't been exposed. You know what I'm saying? Because you moving 6 people. So it never made no sense. They mishandled us all, and I feel like a lot of people lost their lives at Macomb because of it. You know what I'm saying? There was no reason to move anybody. Like if your unit is sick, then lock your unit down. Like nobody comes out the unit. But that's not what they was doing. They was bringing the sickness to every unit.
Yeah, we knew
Every
they
gym
wasn't
and the
prepared
school
for it,
building.
how they handled it, man. Because that's why they had so many deaths in Michigan, man, with COs and so many people inside died because of how they was mishandling, man. And I just couldn't imagine being inside during that catastrophe, like a catastrophe of that magnitude, the chaos that it would cause. You know what I'm saying? I remember one time the lights. You ever had the power go off in the joint?
Yeah.
And you see how the chaos be when the power go off, like
Yeah.
it get
As soon
real
as it
spooky.
ain't no structure, it's just it's anarchy. You know? It's just but what happened with that is they took all the yards and everything. They had us locked down all the time. So on top of like us
Man,
being sick, it's just the pressure of like we can't get outside. Like nobody's being able to get on the phone. You know what I'm saying? Like we just stuck in the cell all day. And then at Macomb, we ain't got toilets in the cell. You know what I'm saying? So we're all trying to use the same bathroom throughout the day, like trying to get out the cell. Like they ain't going for that. So that's causing problems. Like it was just, and then at the end, what they was doing was this how they did it, man. They was saying you got paroles. If y'all guys going home, you got to test. You know what I'm saying? You got to test and see if you got COVID. If you got COVID, you can't go home. So a guy was supposed to go home on Tuesday. They tested him Monday, said he tested positive, and held him for 7 days.
they did that to
Or
my cousin.
it was 30 days. It was 30 days at this time. So
Yep.
I said, so I at this time I got my parole.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like 60 days from home. So I go to the counselor. I say, listen, there's no way you're about to test me for COVID the day before I go home, and then tell me I got it, and then tell me because you guys are mishandling everybody, or I get a false positive, and then you go hold me for 30 days past my out date till I'm clear. I said, there's no way, because that's what they was doing. I said, y'all gonna test me right now, 30 days before I go home. You know what I'm saying? And if I test positive or not, you can put me in a goddamn cell, and then when my day come, let me out. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not gonna hold me 30 days past because of COVID, because y'all don't want to test me 30 days before. You want to test me the day of. I was like, hell no, because they was doing false positives at this time too. It was a bunch of them. So I was just
Was
like, man, I was like, hell no, and that's what they was doing. I seen them, and I seen one guy. They told him he couldn't go home because he had COVID. He assaulted the police.
And got more time.
Yeah, because he's like, what you mean I can't go home? Like, I did all my time. I got a parole. I'm going home. And you telling me because I'm sick I can't go home? Like, hell no. And he nutted up. You know,
that's
and
crazy.
yeah, and then, you know, at this time, I'm a critical thinker, so I'm like, I'm not leaving no room for that, because I know how my reaction is gonna be if they tell me, oh no, you can't go home, you got COVID. You know what I'm saying? So I'm
Yeah.
like, the whole time I'm in the cell, they end up put me in seg. Like I'm stressing. That morning they come and taking my temperature and shit. Like I'm the whole morning, like I'm anxious. I'm ready to go home. Like so, my adrenaline's pumping. I'm warm the whole morning. I'm taking water and a cold rag and putting it on my head. I'm seeing the nurse come in. I'm drinking cold water, holding cold water, so just so
Mhm.
that when they come, my temperature is right. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I'm not hot, because they go like, oh, if you hot, you got COVID. You know, so. I was doing everything I could do to make sure I got, you know what I'm saying, I cleared
Yeah.
that test. You know, like, you're not gonna keep me no extra 30 days, you know what I'm saying? I'm in that mug stressed out, like shit. I'm ready
And
to
it
go
wasn't no
home.
treatment. If you did get COVID, like if you did get COVID, there wasn't no treatment. Like they wasn't putting people on ventilators or giving them no
No, you
special
wasn't they wasn't giving me
antibiotics.
no medication or nothing. They didn't say nothing. Like I had COVID clearly. I lost my sense of smell. You know what I'm saying? That was the only real effect I had. I lost my sense of smell. So, but like when it came back, you know, I was like, oh, okay. And I had like a little slight like headache at the front of my head, like I never really had before. It was just like an irritating. I don't even know. It felt like I had spiders crawling on my forehead for real. It wasn't like no real pain, but it was just like irritation at the front of my forehead, and and I lost my sense of smell. But other than that, I was cool. You know what I'm saying? Like I was still working out and everything. I couldn't smell nothing. I was still working out. But you know, other people wasn't as fortunate as me. You know, they was folded up. I had a bunkie that he had COVID and he was in there, couldn't move. Like every day shaking, and he's hot, then he's cold, and you know, like he luckily lived. But like them boys were trying to file medical paroles and everything, trying to get off that shit, man. COVID was a motherfucker.
Yeah, that's how it was for me, man. It was a mug, man. It was a
Yeah,
mug.
Yeah, I felt bad for them boys that couldn't really shake it, man, because it was rough on a few of them guys, man, for real. And they wasn't giving you nothing. You just gotta thug it out. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta wait for it to pass.
And
So
And crazy.
I know a lot of our seniors, passed away from COVID in there because they already had conditions. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
All that COVID did is maximize the condition that they already had. You know, yeah, I lost a few brothers in there.
yeah, no tar, man, no tar he had a heart attack in like 2015 or 16 or something. You know what I'm saying? So and ever since then he had like lung problems and shit. He had heart problems and shit. And when COVID came, he was like, man, listen, y'all got to keep me away from this shit. I can't, you know what I'm saying? I can't get this shit.
You're
And
right.
like, he tried to stay away from it. He had got it. He was sick for a minute, and then it was cool. And then like, he had went away. And then as soon as I had went home, they had reached out with like, shit, bro ain't make it. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Mm,
like, what you mean? Like, yeah, he had caught COVID again, and it just got a hold of him. You know what I'm saying? Fucking swelled his lungs up and everything, and just I said, man, that's crazy, man. The man
that's
telling you,
crazy.
like, look, I can't catch this COVID in here. Y'all like, it's gonna kill me, man. And they just ignored him. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
Man, that's crazy. Look, you said how you all had the COVID before they had announced it.
yeah, yeah, I believe so. I believe because everybody in the unit was sick, but I'm like, I'm telling everybody, I'm saying it as a joke. Like, man, y'all got COVID. But at this time on CNN, there was no confirmed cases in Michigan. You see what I'm saying?
Mm,
But people that had just came to visit had just came from Florida, where it was kind of running wild at that time. So I
hmm
think they brought it back from Florida with them. I mean, clearly it was already here. You know what I'm saying? They just had no confirmed cases yet. But and that's how, like, Macomb Correctional Facility was one of the first places in Michigan with COVID. Like, I swear, like,
I know,
ain't
I
no.
believe you, because I had actually, I'm trying to find it, but I had wrote an article a long time ago, like right before COVID had started, and I basically had said why I felt that I had COVID before they had announced that it was around, because I had it. I know for sure I had it because I had it twice, and it was exactly the same the second time around as it was the first, but it was way before they had announced any cases in Michigan.
Yeah. So and that's what. So this is why I think it was, because everybody that got sick in the unit, like they was, when I tell you sick, like my homeboy, like I went, I had to go check on him because he wasn't coming out. Like I had to go down there to a cell, like, bro, you all right? You know what I'm saying? You good? Like I'm talking about, couldn't hold nothing down, couldn't eat, like was pale. It was like, it was just, you know how if you get COVID bad, it folds you up. So he was folded, and I was just like, damn, and I was like, bro, you got COVID, bro. But they was like, it ain't in Michigan yet. It ain't in shit. It's coming. It's coming. I believe it was here way before they announced it. We had a confirmed case.
Heck yeah. I found my article too. Now that's crazy.
Yeah.
I had wrote a whole article. Here you go. This was back in March 26, 2020. I said I had COVID-19 and recovered. And this was the note I had actually sent to my boss. I said, I think I got the Rona. I had told her, I was like, I think I got the Rona. And I had put the laughing emojis, and I said, seriously, I'm not feeling good. I'm going to take the day to recover. And I was actually down for a whole week with the virus. You know what I'm saying? Before them even acknowledging that it was around. You know what I'm saying? So I had wrote a whole article about it because they was lying. You know what I'm saying? Telling the people it wasn't here when I knew for sure that it was here.
Right. Yeah, I definitely knew it was here too before it had to been, it was a week before they had been announced the Michigan case, and them boys was already sick and already folded up.
Man,
You know,
that's
somebody
crazy.
probably gonna call from the institution, man. You know how that be up in the air.
Yeah, man, they don't control that, man. They don't control that. But it's all good. Maybe we'll catch you next time, man. We got 10 more minutes left in our show today.
Mhm.
Yeah. Bro, who you waiting on call, Rick and Neil?
Echoes Bay,
Okay, okay.
he's supposed to call today.
Yeah, you see,
I know last
I don't know if you peeped the little art in here. You see what that is right there. That's
yeah,
that's a big tone piece right there.
okay,
Yeah, that's a big tone piece. This a big tone piece too right here.
all
That's
right.
You feel me? Big tone did both of them right there.
Those are nice.
Yeah.
So what else we got going on, man? You know, further in this end of this month, man. Somebody told me that July is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yeah. I mean, far as
yeah.
yeah. I see you. Oh yeah, let me say something, cuz Carrie, I ain't gonna get on you. I know you. I see you still watching and everything. Just let me get you hip to some people first language. I know you don't mean no harm. You probably ain't really, you know what I'm saying, too. You is, but you ain't. So stop. Try to do better, please, as far as like when you refer to individuals that's been locked up, inmates and prisoners, you know what I'm saying, and convicts. We don't like them terms. You know what I'm saying? Like we more the, we human beings first. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us got names, if not all of us. You know what I'm saying? So we as men first. So like the inmate comment, I understand what you were saying. I know you didn't mean no harm, but like just say a guy that's locked up.
or that was locked up, or you know what I'm saying, an incarcerated individual, you know, the guy on the inside or something, just to make sure you acknowledge that he was a man first and he not just an inmate. You know what I'm saying? That's
Returning neighbors. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Yeah.
A returning neighbor, a returning citizen. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a I don't really like formerly incarcerated or none of that. I don't really, you know, whatever. But you know, if I always say, hey, I introduce myself, yeah, I was locked up or whatever. But you know, it just, you know, giving us a title where it has such a negative, you know, connotation on it. You know what I'm saying? Prisoner, inmate. You know what I'm saying? That's like calling, you know what I'm saying, a member of the LGBTQ community, you know what I'm saying, a derogatory term instead of or acknowledging them as being gay instead of the person they are. You feel me? Like already.
You know, when I was
Yeah.
locked up, man, I hated when the officers call you a convict, man.
Yeah, man. I
They
don't like
didn't call
Look,
you by your name. Really. Come here, convict. You know, I'm like, that. Well, I was in the child hall one time, man, and one of the captains was in there, and I consider myself a prisoner. If anything, I was a damn prisoner. I wasn't no convict. I wasn't no inmate. I don't even supposed to. I'm a prisoner. You know, so he said, "Come here, convict," and I was like, my first thought was, I told him that his mama was a convict, and when I told him that, when I told him that, for the rest of the week, I was
oh, your head.
man, you gotta watch your room now. They better shake that thing down. Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, man. I used to hate how they used to label and talk to us, man. It was just like no reason for it. You know what I'm saying? Especially like it threw me off, man. At the legislation day, brother Hakeem, when he was talking, he was saying that it was a crazy statistic. They said that the average citizen commits about 5 to 7 felonies per day without even knowing it. Like, and that's because of the amount of laws that we have in this country that are crimes. You know what I'm saying? When I was in the military, I had a cousin that was in Japan. So he would always call from Japan, like, yo, so crazy out here, it's way different. And we would probably talk about how different the culture was, because I've been to China once. I got to see how it was out there. I've been to Germany once. And when you go to other countries and you see they do prisons and jails totally different. Like in Germany, if you go to prison and you come home, it's done. Like you clean slate. Like they don't care. They like, yo, you did your time. You back now. Let's put you back out here. They give you ultimate green light. Like there's no blocking. There's none of that. There's just like you back now. There's no negative connotation with it. It's you did your service back to the community. Now you done. And
Right.
in Japan, they prison systems is totally different. Like everything is, you have more dignity, you have more respect. You know, it's just when you get to American prisons that you see the lack of respect, them treating you like a dog, like an animal. Like you said, you working in the kitchen and you preparing the food, and you see right on the can it say, not for human consumption. Like they giving us animal feed, animal corn. You know what I'm saying? When we eat corn on the menu, this is animal corn, and you know the difference because you can see it's hard in the mug. You know what I'm saying? It ain't good at all. You like, so they treating us worse than animals in most cases. So you see the lack of respect. You see this lack of dignity. All of that, you get stripped from all of that. And that's why we have such a disdain for the system and for the people that work in the system, because a lot of times guys go in there and they work. Yeah, we know that this is a job for you, but you don't got to go on in there and treat people the way that they do, you know, making it harder for us in there and demeaning us and degrading us and all that.
Right, like I'm already away from my family in this pressure cooker of violence, you know what I'm saying, and pressure cooker of stress, you know what I'm saying, and now you want to come in here and add on to more, or you know what I'm saying, what I got going on, you want to, because you in your feelings about your wife or whatever you got going on in your outside life, so to take it out, you know what I'm saying, to get some aggression out, you want to write a ticket, or you want to, you know what I'm saying, pick a fight with me that you know I can't win, you know what I'm saying, or just to put a guy in the hole, or you know, talk crazy to a guy. Like I seen some officers. I mean he got his butt whipped for this, rightfully so. But like, what even gives you the audacity to think that you can even do this? Like, He told the guy bought a bag of chips out, which we had St. Louis Correctional Facility. At this facility, it's super strict. You only allow one item out, which he was allowed to have. He was allowed to have one item, which was the bag of chips. He bought the item out. The officer told him he couldn't have it out there, that he didn't need a whole bag of chips in the day room, and to take it back from him, or he was gonna take it from him. He said, "Man, you're not gonna take nothing from me." Well, take it back down to your cell. He's like, I ain't taking shit down to my cell. You know what I'm saying? Blase split, whatever. The officer snatched the bag out his hand, snatched it out his hand, threw it on the floor, and stepped on it. Boom. That was the wrong guy to do that to, because immediately he grabbed him up. I'm talking about, and got to beating him. I'm talking about, he beat him so bad that this is how bad he beat him. He was a big guy, so when he got to beating him, he was unconscious. The other police ran up to try to help him. He bink, knocked the police out, turned right back down to beat the other guy that was already down. You know what I'm saying? He did that to three officers, the first three officers that ran up until they came up and shot him with the taser. So there was a total of 4 officers dying on the floor before they shot him with the taser. But he never looked at none of them other ones. He went right back to old boy right after bink, bink, and just was whooping him. Like, when you doing stuff like that, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you expect a guy to react? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? He don't care that you the police, that
Yeah.
you a CO, because you can't disrespect nobody like that. You can't do no stuff like that, and that type of stuff. And what happened? My shit went
It
black.
just froze. You just froze up for a second, but we can still hear you.
Yeah, okay, yeah, but see, that type of stuff is just like, you know, the type of stuff that doesn't need to be happening. If this is the type of staff that you hiring, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man, how can this be better for anybody? You know what I'm saying? Oh, he's supposed to be better. He's supposed to learn patience and just went through the proper procedures. Man, yeah, right. What he supposed to do? Write a grievance about some shit that this police just stepped on his bag? Like, that don't, come on,
Yep.
you know?
I got fired from my gate pass job, dog. From the hospital. I want to say it was my last 6 months left in prison. I got fired from my gate pass because I got into an officer situation. On the gate pass, you have to come back and you have to do the strip search every day when you get off your shift. You know, that was standard procedures. And I'm used to doing this all the time. But we had this one officer that will always take it to the max, always say extra stuff, to try to dehumanizing you. You know what I'm saying? Degrade you. And then at the same time, we thought that he might have been, we knew that he wasn't a straight male. So anyway, long story short, I'm doing my strip search. I do it like we regularly do, your quick squat and cough, joint. You already pulling your pants down and showing a man your butt, you know what I'm saying? It's already uncomfortable. But this man go, oh, that's not good enough. I need you to bend down and put your hands on your cheeks and spread your cheeks open. I'm like, what? I ain't doing that. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, that ain't regulations. You know what I'm saying? I said, so me being a smart ass, I say to him like, if you want to see, you want to see something, basically, I'd basically question his character as a man. You know what I'm saying? And because of that, they wrote me up, wrote me tickets. You know what I'm saying? Took my gate pass job, all of this because of this man and what he did. You know what I'm saying? But they don't even take it into consideration. Like, yo, he going extra. He doing more than what he's supposed to do. Like, how is this not a sexual assault, a violation? You know what I'm saying? Of my rights. That's how I learned. Like, we don't have no rights when we inside, man.
Well, they do
Yeah,
got
nah,
they
them
do
rights,
got a
them
law,
rights are
they
gone.
do got a lawsuit in place now pertaining to some things like what you just talked about. They got a firm on that, when they doing strip search and stuff, videoing it and stuff like that. They got a lawsuit with that. With them
Yeah, as it should, and you already know with the women's prison what they deal with the amount of sexual abuse that they deal with when dealing with those situations, man. It's just degrading all the way around, man, and that's why there's so much self-harm done inside the institutions by people that are locked up inside and by the correction officers. That's why they got so much self-harm in their community themselves too, because imagine having to subject yourself to that job and having to strip search men all day, you know what I'm saying? constantly making men bend over, and you gotta look at them in their private areas all day for a job. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna make you depressed too. In private areas all day for a job. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna make you
Yep.
the crazy echo. But all right, man, we done for the day, fellas, man. Y'all got anything else y'all wanna add?
No,
No, I'm good. Shit.
That's what I'm talking about, man.
Going down, going down to Pontiac, I'm going down to Pontiac, and you know that's where the man Swanson gonna be at, the one of the runneries for governor, candidate for governor. So
Oh, you talking about T. Swanson?
yeah, he gonna be down in Pontiac. So it's a meet and greet. So I get some questions I want to ask you, man, pertaining to, because all these politicians always run off of, criminal justice reform. They all run off of that, you know what I'm saying? But are they really going to do what they say they're going to do once they get into that position? Are they just running off of that just to say, I'm for change, because he spoke about change in our institutions and doing some things of changing the policies and the way things is ran in prison. I just want to ask him a few questions and see where he stand on that.
Yeah, make him stand on that.
Well, shit, go ask them questions, then come back and let us know what he said.
I'm gonna bring him onto the podcast. That's gonna be one of the things that he can get on here as a returning neighbor and speak on it.
Nah, I bet.
Heck yeah. All right, fellas, man. Appreciate y'all, man. Y'all enjoy y'all day, and we'll tap in later.
I already know, bro. Appreciate y'all.
Peace.
Peace.
Who do I turn to? Who do I turn to?
Walk back in with a duffel bag, one key, one bus card, one last tag. Mama moved, phone dead, rent due. I know the block, but the block don't know you. Paperwork thick like a brick wall. Every form say sign here, I stall. Online page keep asking me to prove what I spent years trying to get loose. First day home, I don't sleep much. Window half open, hearing loose cuffs. My hands still shake when the door latch clicks. Still count steps like a cell block shift. I tell myself breathe, keep pace. But the same old alley got a new face. And everybody say keep your head up. Like clean is easy when the whole world fed up. 72 hours, that's the test. Keep my feet